You cannot understand God. You can only know God by experiencing it. From the book Kabbalion, it is stated that God by its very nature is something that cannot be understood. So, the pursuit of science to find God may never get it there. Because God is not an entity with a beard and anger issues, sitting on some throne. That is a human personification of God. God is everything. So, the essence of God is right here, within you. But in the presence of your ego, its over-identification with ego, God is missing from your awareness. Ego separates you from the divine. And it is ego that has given God so many attributes akin to it, and has personified God. It has made God to be some external entity that has a fully developed ego that is capable of judging and hurting. Can't you see? Every single personification of God is so ego-like. Take any mythology or any deity from any religion, and you will see an ego masked as God. That is the take of ego in trying to understand God. As Neville Goddard said, it is one of the greatest spiritual secret and takes a spiritually awakened mind to realize that you can only examine a thing and try to understand it by looking at it from the outside. But you can only truly know a thing by becoming it. Therefore, you can only know God by experiencing it inside you. Otherwise, you will forever pursue it from an egoic lens, trying to understand it from the outside. And you will only get to know more of its creation and not it, because it is behind the veil of everything you see. As Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. Everything is energy. And that life-giving energy is God. But we will look at the thing and try to understand its attributes. Try to explain it with our logic, missing the entire point. That the thing is same as you in its most fundamental essence. I cannot remember who stated this quote, but I want to share it with you. Listen to it very carefully. It holds a truth that is not understood by science. Here it is. The act of looking is the act of creation. What you will look for, you will find. What science will look for, it will find. But what it will find is another creation. As we are the mediators of God's expansion in our lives. So, what we will assume, give our dominant attention to, will manifest. As an individual or as a whole. Thus, the act of looking will end in the act of creation. As we are at the leading edge of creation. Manifesting new realms with our collective minds. Our thoughts and feelings are giving birth to new realities every single moment. The point is, you will not find God by looking for it everywhere but within you. What you will find when you look for God will be another creation of God. God is present when the mind is absent in you. God is here when you are here. God is pleased when you are pleased. God is joyful when you are joyful. Now don't mistake the momentary pleasure of ego to be the pleasure of God. Anything experienced from the premise of separation is not the real experience of God. God is there, but your ego that believes in separation will dilute the experience. Or altogether make it into something else. This is not to say that the ego is bad. Ego is the very reason why we have creation and endless possibilities. If we all knew who we are and believed in unity, there would be no motivation or need to create. Our individualized self is what makes this game of life fun. But hideous at times as well. So the point is not to get rid of the ego. But to develop it gracefully. Embrace it, but do not completely identify with it. Knowing that it is not you is the first step. You can then begin to enjoy your ego. It is called your ego, not you ego. It is something that you have. It is not who you are. The moment you are able to make a distinction between your ego and yourself is when you will begin to experience God in your life. And you will come to know it. This is not to say that you will transcend immediately and leave this body and become God. That is not the point. The point is not for you to start to dislike this life and go live inside a cave. The point is for you to know God. And then do God's will in your life. Do what God is intended for you to do. What is that? You know it. Not your ego, but real you. I have searched for God in many texts by now. Guess what? It has made me even more confused. But one feeling that I can't seem to shake off is this. Every single description of God that I have come across thus far is so egoic. It sounds so human. As if articulated by the ego. And then I realize that it is an attempt of the ego to try to understand something that is by its very essence not understandable. So, ego articulates it similar to itself. Because that is what the limited knowledge of ego can conjure. You can't know God by looking at it from the outside. Thus, it is a lost cause. But not an uninteresting cause. I thoroughly enjoy the pursuit of God. I have embraced this fascination of my ego. And I am playing along because I enjoy it. But I already know where God is. Now, this doesn't mean that its creation is not fascinating. So, this message is not for you to stop seeking. Just don't seek anything to complete yourself. You are already whole and complete. Seek just to enjoy. Just to satisfy your curiosity. All the while, experiencing God in your life. By silencing the mind from time to time and being present. Enjoy science, religion, and knowledge. Excel in this life. Manifest wonderful life and enjoy the amazing experience of this world. But always carry the knowing of who you really are within. And carry the presence of God with you in your day-to-day life. It will make this game of life much more immersive and joyful. God is here. Be still and know that I am.